Hello, again my name is Dustin Bush, lead trainer here at Fit for Life, and this is video number 2 of Moving Fit for Feminine Fat Loss. And we're going to dive deeper in fat. In the previous video we talked about 3 types of energy: protein, sugar, and fat. We're going to talk more specifically about fat. And there are 3 things that I want you to know. I want you to know so that we can dive even deeper into how we move fit for feminine fat loss. First, fat is energy. You more than likely knew that, but let's get deeper into it. Fat, the primary use of fat is actually to keep us warm. It's not our activity. Obviously, activity does burn fat, but it's not as useful as I think we like to think that it is. So when you wake up to when you go to bed, the primary reason you're burning fat is literally to keep your body warm. So, fun fact. Second, we have free fat and we have stored fat, right? So there are 3 places that fat can come from. Obviously from our food, right? We eat food, we eat fat, it gets in that way. Second, we have our stored fat, right? So stored fat in our adipose tissue, and we're going to get to this little diagram in just a moment. But our adipose tissue, right, if we're ever in a situation, you're on Survivor, and you haven't eaten for a very long time, your body, obviously, you can access fat from your adipose tissue. The third place is actually the liver. Now, let's take one step back. So when you eat something, there's some fat in it, but there's also some sugar in it, right? More often than not, regardless of what it is. What can happen, right? Doesn't always happen, but what can happen is that you eat sugar, goes through your bloodstream. If it doesn't get burned, 1. If it doesn't get stored as glycogen, remember the previous video, 2, in the liver, 3, it can be stored as fat. And what happens is the liver simply converts it into fat. It's put into the bloodstream, just like the fat that you may have just eaten. And it can go through the same process, and your fat cells can suck up that fat that was once sugar. And the reason your body does that is because excess sugar in the body is toxic. So you don't necessarily want a lot of sugar just floating around the bloodstream, just as you actually don't want too much fat floating around the bloodstream. So you don't want your triglycerides too high, you don't want your sugar too high. So let's get to our next point. So oxygen, in the presence of oxygen. Fat can only be burned. That is that's a flame. So yes, it is. So that's a flame. And a lot like fire, fat can only be burned in the presence of oxygen. And that is going to be very important. So that's, just keep that in mind. Fat can only burn in oxygen. So every time that you're burning fat energy, specifically the free fat, is in the presence of oxygen. Okay? So now let's get to our last one, adipose tissue, right? So we talked about that just a moment ago. We have our fat cells, and they make up adipose tissue, and they can take in fat energy. So if we have a lot of free fat floating around energy, we can bundle it up into triglycerides and store it as fat. We can take our sugar, convert it to triglycerides, store it as fat. And what you want to know about fat, this may be the most useful point that I made in this video, is that your fat tissue has hormone receptors, right? And so your body doesn't actually want to let this energy go. So we have our free fat, which we're burning all the time. I'm currently burning some as I'm trying to explain this in this video, and you're probably burning some as you're watching it. But the fats in our adipose tissue isn't as readily available as the fat that we have, the free, literally free, and that's where the free comes from, free fatty acids that are floating in our blood that's readily available to be used to keep us warm and for activity and such, okay? So we have hormone receptors attached to our fat that can tell our body, hey, hormone comes, I need some energy, release this fat into the bloodstream so that I can potentially burn it. Potentially is good to know, but potentially burn it, okay? So a number of points here. The one that you want to remember is the fact that your fat cells, your adipose tissue, has hormone receptors on it that tell the body to release this fat into the bloodstream. So you have to tell your body to release the energy. It doesn't just come because you decided to walk, because you decided to jog, because you decided to do cardio dance. You have to tell the body to release this energy into the bloodstream so that it can be burned. Hope that was helpful. See you in the next video.